日本時間17日、エンゼルスから FA となった大谷翔平が、21年以来2年ぶりに、史上初の2度目の満票でリーグ MVP に輝きました。MLB 史上初となる、満票2度目の快挙で世界中が沸いている中、さらに大谷の愛犬お披露目も、大きな注目を集めています。17日の時点では大谷の飼い犬かどうかは定かではありませんでしたが、18日には、大谷自身が最近飼い始めた愛犬だと判明したと報道各社が報じています。犬種はオランダ産の小型犬の一種であるコーイケルホンディエと見られています。また、FOX スポーツのアナリストで大谷マニアのベン・バーランダー氏も、
翔平大谷と子犬、みんなが求めているコンテンツ
と興奮気味に投稿していました。すると、トレーディングカードなどを取り扱う老舗トップス社は、早速大谷と愛犬のカードを制作し、販売。1日限りの限定販売となっているようで、価格は $8.9 となっています。そんな中、MLB 専門局、MLB ネットワークの番組、MLB トゥナイトでも、大谷の愛犬トークが盛り上がっていましたので、日本語字幕付きでご紹介していきます。
And Shohei Ohtani is also a unanimous winner. In fact, he's a two-time MVP now. In fact, he's the first player to win the MVP award in multiple unanimous votes. He is your 2023 American League MVP. Let's take a look to see how the voting broke down here. Once again, a pair of teammates behind the eventual winner. Corey Seager and Marcus Semien had fantastic seasons. Julio Rodriguez and Kyle Tucker rounding out the top five. But the award, again, belongs to Shohei Ohtani. And Major League Baseball sending out this tweet for the second time in 3 years. Shohei Ohtani is the American League's most valuable player. And this tweet here from a fan. Yeah, what's amazing about Shohei Ohtani's dog is that he throws and fetches. I see what you did there, Sid, because he's a dual threat. You see, Shohei, all right, it kind of landed flat in the studio.
I got to train my dog to do that. Just a little high five. My dog can do a high five, but with the pressure on, the cameras on.
I know,
on spot.
Hey, like the owner, the dog rose to the occasion. And you know what? Look, next season, Shohei Ohtani will not be pitching. So maybe everyone else will have a chance legitimately to win the MVP.
Yeah, I think next year is everybody else's year in the league, whether it be the National League, American League, depending on what team he goes to. If they're going to win the MVP, next year is the year to do it.
Right.
Because Shohei is going to be in the DH spot. But what really stood out to me from his interview right there, a lot of guys always stay extremely humble. And he's a humble guy. I'm not trying to say he's not. But he said this was a goal of his to come out on top. He understands last year he didn't win it. And he came into this season on a mission saying, I want to win the MVP. And I can praise him for that because a lot of people won't say that out loud because you understand as a player, if you do your part, you put your team in the best position to win.
You've been around him. What is he like on the field as a teammate?
He's one of the most humble guys you're going to be around, but he's a freakish athlete. A lot of people don't understand how big he is. You know, he's 6'3", 225, all muscle. He rates off the charts in every single strength test, mobility test. If there's anybody who can come back from 2 UCLs and be able to bounce back better than anybody, it's Ohtani. I don't question if he's going to be able to come back and be dominant the next time he's on the mound.
Yeah, there's 2 guys since I've been in MLB Network 2009 that would do the 30 teams in 30 days. There's been 2 guys that have walked out of a dugout onto the field, and being 6'5", that I look at a guy and I'm like, wow. Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Greg Amsinger and I, last year, we were at the A's facility, and Shohei was pitching on the road. And he came in from the parking lot because he was pitching that day. And it was almost like the entire field, which the A's were going through PFP, came to a halt watching this guy walk. And there are just guys, Robert, that are a presence. And he is a presence. He's along with Aaron Judge when they walk into a room. If you were the most casual of casual baseball fans and somebody had a guy walk across and say, hey, which one of those guys is Shohei Ohtani? You'd go, that guy. Which one of those guys is Aaron Judge? That guy. You see Tiger Woods walking down a ferry. Which one's Tiger? That guy. Yeah. He's just one of those guys.
I always say that I think maybe his most impressive feat, that in an era and age where we know everything about everyone, I feel like we know hardly anything off the field about Shohei Ohtani. There seems to be an air of mystery about him that I think he enjoys. and is part of his MO, his aura, if you will.
It is. One thing I noticed is that the players recognize his greatness as well. When you go to we were at the All-Star game this year, and every player you think, oh, I'm excited to see this player. Every single player there was going out of their way to try to talk to Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
And I can't put anything past him. We had the MVP conversation about Ohtani for next year because he's DHing. But you better believe he's going to find some way to separate himself next year, whether that's 60 home runs and 30 and 40 stolen bases. I mean, he had 40 stolen bases last year when he had to pitch. So imagine he's coming in, not having to pitch this year. He says, okay, if I'm not pitching, I'm going to use my legs a little more this season. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to steal 40 bags and I'm going to still hit 60 home runs. This should show you that I can bring that much to the table.
Can you imagine he goes out and hits 60? He doesn't pitch, but he just hits 60.
Yeah, and to your point, I'm watching the ceremony today in my office. I'm like, wow, he likes dogs.
Yes.
Like, you see his dog there, and I'm like, all right, man, he likes dogs. That's my kind of guy, right?
And when he was eating the ruffled chips on the team bus, I thought that was like
Funyuns.
Right.
The Funyuns, excuse me. Good call, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give
again,
Funyuns
he's one of the most magnetic athletes that we have in this country.
We've got to find out the
world,
name of his dog, too, don't we?
I think
somebody.
we do.
Can we get that info?
Adam, in research, that's your job.
Adam, we need you.
There we go. Once again, Shohei Ohtani is your unanimous 2023 American League MVP.
また、メッツの地元、ニューヨークの放送局 SNY では、大谷が短期契約を結ぶ可能性についても議論されていましたので、こちらも日本語字幕付きでご紹介していきます。
Jim, let me begin with you on this. What do you think of a shorter deal for Ohtani, how it might impact the Mets and really the rest of the market?
Well, I always like when these type of things come out in the media because, first off, I haven't seen an impact guy, take a short-term deal with a higher AAV yet. I mean, Aaron Judge, there was talk about it last year. That certainly didn't happen. You go back a couple of years with Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, it didn't happen then too. But a lot of times this information is generated from the agent because it pushes the price tag on a one-year basis or a shorter-term basis up a lot higher, 40, 45, $50 million. It sets a market that they then go back and use to the other teams that know it's going to cost a lot more over a lot of years. And so for me, almost always when I see the short-term deals, they're not likely going to happen. Would any team like to do it? Of course they would, but I think there are other ways to do it over the length of a contract where you let's say increase the value of the contract in the early parts of the years, and as he ages, it tends to go down from there because obviously he's not going to be productive at the back end of the contract. So I think more than anything, it's a lot of times this is agent generated, and most teams realize it's going to cost a lot of money.
It is going to cost a lot of money either way. We know that. What about you, Andy? How involved do you think the Mets are going to be when it comes to Ohtani this offseason?
Look, the Mets would love Ohtani. We've talked a lot on this network about how that could potentially be a fit. But I got to tell you, Gary, covering this offseason so far, GM meetings last week, just generally making my phone calls and doing my job, there's nothing. Like, there's no sense of momentum or linkage with the Mets and Ohtani at this point in his free agency right now. Now, it's early in his free agency, but that's just not what the feeling is. Could that change? I guess. But it just doesn't feel like the way the wind is blowing here. Ohtani, just a widespread industry expectation that the Dodgers would be a fit there. And again, the Mets will be in. The Mets, even if they whiffed it, they have a chance. They'll be aggressive. But I just not feeling it.
You're not feeling it. What about you,
Just
Keith?
through sources. I mean, it's just something that's not being talked about as a likelihood at this point.
I mean, everybody wants him. Every single network of every single team is talking about how can we get Shohei Ohtani, and the Mets would love him. The reason why I tussle on Ohtani, why would the Mets go after him now? Why would he come here? He has to come here. He has to go to a team that he expects to win. They didn't do much playoff winning in Los Angeles with the Angels, but it's long-term potential. I know we're talking, maybe short-term dollars for a short deal with the team. The Mets, I don't think they're positioned in 2 or 3 years to go for it all the way with the World Series. I think a 10-year deal is nice. I don't know. I don't think Ohtani.
これからも大谷の活躍から目が離せません。皆様からのコメントもお待ちしております。